Good afternoon, live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. The top stories at this hour. 2611 mastermind Tahawwurrana extradited from the US for his role in deadly Mumbai attack to land in Delhi shortly. Multi-agency team to interrogate Rana. Indian President Draupadi Murmu to attend Slovakia-India Business Forum, aim to deepen cooperation and new initiatives. Amid global pushback, US President Trump unveils 90-day pause on tariffs for most countries, hits China harder with 125%. Global markets make historic gains. Trump reiterates threat to use military force if Iran does not agree to nuclear deal, says Israel would play a key role. Tahawwurrana, accused of masterminding the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, has been extradited from the United States and is expected to arrive in India on Thursday. Accompanied by a special team of intelligence and NIA officials, the extradition comes after US Supreme Court recently rejected Rana's last appeal, essentially clearing the way for his handover to Indian authorities. Tahawwurrana, a Pakistani origin Canadian businessman, is known to have been an active operative of the terror outfit Lashkar-e-Toiba and played a pivotal role in facilitating travel documents for David Coleman Headley. Rana and David Headley were detained by the FBI at the Chicago airport in October of 2009. And the Indian government has appointed Advocate Narendra Mann as Special Public Prosecutor for National Investigation Agency NIA in 2611 Mumbai terror attack. Narendra Mann will represent the NIA in special courts and appellate courts in Delhi. The appointment is made for a period of 3 years or till the completion of the trial, whichever is earlier. And DD India correspondent Vishal Baristo joins us live from Delhi. Vishal, a big breakthrough for Indian security agencies. If you can help us understand, what are the security and legal protocols that will follow once Tahawwurrana is in India?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Shubhendu. Let me first tell you that we've been waiting for Tahawwurrana. All media is here, but my sources are telling me that Tahawwurrana would be landing in India only after 6 in the evening. So it's still a long wait, but definitely a big development as far as the Indian agencies are concerned, and success for them as well after the American Supreme Court rejected the application of Tahawwurrana. And we are expecting all kinds of investigation. It's a very, very hard nut to crack, let me tell you, Shubhendu. So far, he has not divulged anything. So the NIA has a very tough case at hand, but we are expecting that he would be here in the evening, and then he would be handed over, and NIA would take him into custody. Then he would go to the Tihar jail. A special cell has been prepared for him, and the security has been beefed up there. Security has also been beefed up here at the Palam Airport, Air Force Airport here in Delhi. But the security, as far as security goes, the SWAT team, which is the Special Weapon and Tactical Commando Unit of the Delhi Police, is also accompanying him. And Tahawwurrana is being brought through a special flight in which the NIA officials and the SWAT team are accompanying him, because they're taking all care, because it's a very high profile case, and we all know that India would be able to establish to the world that Pakistan is a state-sponsored terrorist epicenter, and why India has always been vocal about Pakistan, because Pakistan is the country behind the Mumbai attack, and ISI are the main handlers of both David Coleman Headley and Tahawwurrana, the conspirators of Mumbai attack.
And Vishal, if you can also take us through the details of the alleged role that Rana is said to have played in the 2008 Mumbai terror attack, and how important is his extradition in the overall investigation into the case?
Well, Shubhendu, the extradition of tahawwur Rana itself is a very big achievement and very important, because so far he was with the American agencies and he tried his level best to avoid extradition to India. He tried his application with the American Supreme Court, which was rejected, and finally NIA has it, and now he is on board to Delhi via Dubai, where it would be a stopover for the refueling of the aircraft. But when we talk about tahawwur Rana, we know that how well planned was the attack before the attack was finally done on Mumbai. It was the planning of tahawwur Rana along with David Coleman Hadley. They had even gone to Ajmer, where they had recce'd Bait Khabad, which is just opposite to a hotel where tahawwur Rana had stayed there. And his targets were the Jewish religious institutions and also the Mumbai. We know that 166 people lost their lives, and finally Kasab was also hanged to death. There were 10 attackers, but the main conspirators were David Coleman Hadley and tahawwur Rana. And finally we are having tahawwur Rana, who is Pakistani, a man of Pakistani origin and a Canadian national. So his involvement would be very, very crucial. Then he would also be telling us, or the investigating agencies, about the role of the ISI, especially because the whole idea is to establish the role of Pakistan's inter-service intelligence, and how they have been planning repeated attacks.
Right, Vishal, thank you very much for joining us with those updates. We'll keep coming back to you through the day for more. And so, who is tahawwur Rana? What is the case against him? In the next report, we get you all the details.
Tahawwur Rana holds Canadian citizenship and has Pakistani origins. He faces charges in India for his involvement in the 2008 Mumbai attacks and was found guilty in the US for aiding Lashkar-e-Taiba. India is seeking his extradition for his role in the 26/11 attacks. Rana assisted David Headley, a co-conspirator in the attack, who held US citizenship and Pakistani heritage. Rana provided Headley with false credentials to help him scout targets for the attack. In January this year, the US Supreme Court rejected tahawwur Rana's petition, and that was quickly followed up by Senator Rubio authorizing Rana's extradition in February. Later on, US President Donald Trump announced the extradition of tahawwur Rana to India, adding that he would face justice. He made the announcement during a joint press conference with Prime Minister Narendra Modi following their bilateral meeting. Rana's defense filed for more documents on February 13. On February 19, the court denied his request to delay the extradition. Again, the Ninth Circuit rejected his appeal on February 21. Rana filed an emergency request with the US Supreme Court within a week, which was also rejected on March 5, 2025. And on April 7, the US Supreme Court again rejected his plea for a stay on his extradition to India.
Some other news: President Draupadi Murmu is in Slovakia on a state visit. President Murmu and President Pellegrini will jointly inaugurate the India-Slovak Business Forum and visit the Jaguar Land Rover assembly plant in Nitra, marking a significant milestone in economic cooperation between the two countries. Earlier on the first day of a visit on Wednesday, President Murmu held talks with Slovak counterpart in Bratislava and held several important high-level meetings. Leaders reviewed various facets of India-Slovakia ties and witnessed the exchange of 2 MOUs. Slovakian President Peter Pellegrini announced the country's full support for India's bid to become a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, highlighting the long-standing and growing relationship between Slovakia and India. President Murmu's visit is the first by an Indian head of state to Slovakia in nearly 30 years. It is expected to further strengthen political and economic ties between the two nations. The visit underscores growing partnership between India and Slovakia, with a focus on expanding trade, investment and cooperation in various sectors. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh participated in the annual day celebrations of Defence Staff Training College in southern India's Wellington this morning. The minister laid wreath at the Shaheed Smarak. In pursuit of the need to modernize and remain relevant for the future, Ministry of Defence has decided to observe this year, 2025, as the year of reforms. This would aim at transforming the armed forces into technologically advanced combat-ready force capable of multi-domain integrated operations. Addressing the gathering, Minister Rajnath Singh said 9 broad areas have been identified addressing the entire range of modernization imperatives to include defence acquisition and procedural reforms.
The start point has to be the development and the modernization of our armed forces. Technology today is not a support element but a decisive enabler of operations. Our armed forces must therefore not only keep pace with technological changes but also lead it. The need for us is to develop low-cost, high-tech solutions and enhance the fighting capability of the armed forces. In order to remain capable and relevant for future wars, we need to vigorously pursue the transformation of our armed forces.
Mahavir Jayanti is one of the most auspicious festivals for the Jain community, commemorating the birth of Lord Mahavir, who was born in 599 BC in Kudagrama, present-day Bihar. The spiritual reformer and profound thinker, Lord Mahavir propagated the path of non-violence, truth, celibacy, non-possessiveness, and non-stealing, the 5 cardinal principles of Jainism. On this day, devotees visit temples, offer prayers, participate in Rath Yatras carrying the idol of Lord Mahavir, accompanied by devotional songs and sermons. Many engage in acts of charity, selfless service, reflecting the teachings of Tirthankaras who renounce worldly pleasures in pursuit of spiritual liberation. And President Murmu has extended greetings on Mahavir Jayanti. In a message on X, she says, and I quote, "On the auspicious occasion of Mahavir Jayanti, I extend my greetings and best wishes to fellow citizens, especially the Jain brothers and sisters. Bhagwan Mahavir, the embodiment of non-violence and compassion, showed a new path to humanity through the messages of Ahimsa Paramo Dharma, which means non-violence is the supreme religion. Mahavir Jayanti gives us the message to follow the path of spirituality and adopt the values of simplicity, kindness, and detachment from material possessions and desires. Let us imbibe the teachings of Bhagwan Mahavir in our lives and promote peace, non-violence, and harmony in the society." Unquote. And extending greetings to people on the occasion of Mahavir Jayanti, Prime Minister Narendra Modi writes, and I quote, "We all bow to Bhagwan Mahavir, who always emphasized on non-violence, truth, and compassion. His ideals give strength to countless people all around the world. His teachings have been beautifully preserved and popularized by the Jain community. Inspired by Bhagwan Mahavir, they have excelled in different walks of life and contributed to societal well-being." He further added that the government will always work to fulfill the vision of Bhagwan Mahavir. The government last year conferred the status of classical language on Prakrit, a decision which received a lot of appreciation. Let's now take a look at other stories making news today. Indian and US armed forces wrapped up a rigorous training phase in Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh during the Tri-Service Humanitarian Assistance and Disaster Relief Exercise, Tiger Triumph 2025. The troops trained together in jungle warfare, fieldcraft and mountain mobility drills. Yoga and martial arts fused agility and combat fitness sessions. Representing India were 8 Gorkha Battalion of Sudarshan Chakra Corps, while US teams included soldiers from the Bobcats and Marine Corps units. In Balrampur district, surrendered Maoists are being provided homes under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. A total of 23 such individuals have benefited from the scheme. Initiatives like these continue in Chhattisgarh as surrendered Maoists benefit from government schemes. Such efforts are expected to play a key role in ending red terror in the region. For more than 20 years, Nagpur-based animal lover and activist Satpurush has been waking up at dawn to feed birds across the city. Come rain or shine, his daily routine includes scattering grains at designated spots where flocks of pigeons, sparrows and crows eagerly await. In a city where concrete is fast replacing green cover, Wankhede's efforts serve as a powerful reminder of coexistence and compassion. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Next round of Ukraine-US talks on minerals deal next week. Canada political turmoil continues. And herd of animal puppets on a journey to create climate awareness.
This week on Defence Dynamics, India's bold maritime push takes the centre stage. From the Indian Ocean ship Sagar to Project Seabird, how is India strengthening its naval muscle against China's growing footprint? Prime Minister Modi's strategic visit to Sri Lanka signals a powerful regional reset. What does the historic defence pact mean for India-Sri Lanka ties? Electric motorcycles for special forces and futuristic UAVs. India gears up for stealthier, smarter warfare. Plus, why the Army Commanders Conference is more than just a meeting. Catch all this and much more on Defence Dynamics, Wednesday 8 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. In a dramatic change of policy, US President Donald Trump announced a 90-day pause on the reciprocal tariffs for all but China. Just hours after levies against roughly 60 of America's trading partners kicked in, Donald Trump said he was authorizing a universal lowered reciprocal tariff of 10% as negotiations continue. At the same time, he increased tariffs on goods from China to 125%, accusing Beijing of lack of respect after it retaliated by saying it would impose tariffs of 84% on US imports. This comes a week after Trump announced import taxes on all goods entering the US in the biggest upheaval of international trade in decades. His plan set a baseline tariff of 10% on all imports, which remain in place, but also higher rates on partners the White House described as the worst offenders. This included 27-member European Union, Vietnam, South Africa, and many more, all of which were due to be on the receiving end of US tariffs ranging from 11 to more than 100%.
No, I can't imagine. I don't think I'll have to do it. I don't think we'll have to do it more. We calculated it very carefully. By the way, when you hear 100, a lot of people charge much more than that. Canada charges much more than that to our farmers, our dairy farmers. Many people charge much more than 100 or 125 in this case. But I don't, it's still a significant number. I don't see that.
And after the US raised tariffs on China to 104%, Beijing retaliated, announcing it will impose a levy of 84% on US imports, up earlier from 34%. China's finance ministry has announced an 84% tariff on goods imported from the United States, retaliating against recent levies imposed by the White House. The hike in tariffs come after Trump's 104% tariffs on Chinese goods came into force on Wednesday. They were later increased to 125%. China's Commerce Ministry slapped restrictions on more than a dozen US defense firms on Wednesday. Beijing added 12 US companies to a control list that prohibits exports of dual-use items and another 6 to its unreliable entities list. Beijing, which has said its charges would take effect from Thursday, urged other countries to unite against Trump's tariffs as the country's exporters reel from crippling new levies. And as Trump announced a pause on reciprocal tariff for almost all its global trading partners for a period of 90 days, international reactions have started coming in. South Korea's acting president, Han Duck-soo, said on Thursday that the government would seek to advance negotiations with the US over tariffs in a bid to shake off the burden. The incoming German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, said that a united European approach to trade had a positive impact and that Europeans are determined to defend themselves, and this example shows that unity helps. Most of all, Italy welcomed the decision by Trump to pause the tariffs for 90 days and said a group of 7 countries spoke about trying to calm the situation. Interim leader of Bangladesh, Yunus, thanked Trump to pause the tariffs as Trump had imposed 37% levies on Bangladesh. European Union has announced the approval of tariffs to hit around $23.2 billion of US goods in response to the 25% duties on its steel and aluminium exports. The United States and Vietnam have agreed to launch trade talks between each other. The Vietnamese government said US and Vietnam will work to remove as many non-tariff barriers as possible. And global stocks rebounded strongly after US President Trump's stunning reversal on sweeping reciprocal tariffs. Within moments of Trump's social media announcement, the Dow index surged ahead over 2,500 points, along the way to a nearly 8% gain on the session. The tech-rich Nasdaq won 12.2% to notch its best day in 24 years, while S&P 500 soared 9.5% for its biggest daily gain since 2008. Asian markets also opened with the strong gains on Thursday, following Wall Street's biggest one-day rally in years. In Japan, the Nikkei was up 7.2%, while Seoul Kospi was up over 5%. In Australia, the ASX 200 jumped more than 6% at the open. This would make it the biggest gain since March of 2020. We now get you this infographic showing the percentage change in 6 stock market indices since the inauguration of the Trump administration on January 20th. The 6 indices are those of Hong Kong, Frankfurt, London, Paris, New York and Tokyo for the months of January till April. In other news, controversy is reshaping Canada's election landscape as political parties swiftly remove candidates over inflammatory remarks and problematic histories, with recent incidents spotlighting sensitive issues, particularly involving Canada's influential Indian diaspora. Voters are left questioning party vetting processes and representation. Here's more.
A wave of campaign controversies has forced major parties to drop several candidates in recent weeks. In the past week alone, at least 7 candidates have let go by Liberals and Conservatives over offensive remarks or past conduct. These incidents span anti-immigrant rhetoric, extremist sympathies and inflammatory social media posts, shaking an election landscape increasingly sensitive to diverse and diaspora politics. One high-profile ouster came in the Conservative camp. Don Patel, a Toronto area Conservative candidate, was dropped after he endorsed a social media post. The post was widely interpreted. Patel was actually 4th candidate ousted in just 2 days. Earlier in Ontario, candidate Mark McKenzie was forced out after a podcast surfaced of him, joking that former Liberal Prime Minister Justin Trudeau should face a public hanging. In Quebec, another Conservative hopeful was dropped for deriding a massive shooting survivor, pushing for gun control as playing the victim game online. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre defended the house cleaning, saying his vetting process is stronger than all other parties and that there is zero tolerance for anyone who acts unacceptably. It's not only the Conservative facing such turmoil, the governing Liberal Party has also had to distance itself from candidates. In Markham, Ontario, Liberal MP Paul Chiang resigned as a candidate after comments he made in January came to light in which he suggested handing a Conservative rival over to Chinese official in exchange for bounty. Liberal leader Mark Carney condemned the remark as deeply offensive. Meanwhile, in Ottawa, the 3-term Liberal MP Chandra Arya was abruptly barred from running for re-election in his riding. According to intelligence officials had raised concern over Arya alleged close ties to Indian government. Liberal Party has not publicly detailed its reasons, citing only new information, but Arya himself insists he was removed because of his outspoken stance against the Sikh Khalistan separatist movement in Canada. Notably, the third major party, the New Democrats, say they haven't had to drop any of their candidates so far. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh said if issue do arise, the party will make the best decision for Canada and democracy. As the campaign continues towards the April 28th election, both Liberal and Conservatives are hoping their quick action will reassure voters that they won't tolerate bigotry or extremism in their ranks. Whether these removals ease the concern of diaspora communities or deepen their anxieties remain to be seen. From Canada, this is Tarun Paul Singh.
The Herds, an international public art and climate action project, is taking life-size animal puppets on a journey to major cities in Africa and Europe to symbolize animal kingdom's fight from climate disaster. Begins in DR Congo's capital, Kinshasa. What an amazing effort there. But that's all in this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code, download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.